by the Electoral Commission. He was arrested, not normally, by people breaking into Honorable Adeke's house, pulling them out, flogging them as they wanted, drove them for more than 80 kilometers from Soroti. Others to Amuria, others went up to Karamoja. Another group was taken to Bukedea by these goons. Mr. Wabakam was just watching. That's what he calls a free and fair elections. If those words still have English meanings. You arrest a party president, you are the one who accredited him to go there. He did not go there on his own. He has a candidate in elections. You take him to Bukedea. To Dokoro. You put him in a cell. You make him lie on the floor. And then you still call these elections. Our parties were formed to fight to go into power through elections. But if you are taking elections like this, do you still have a purpose of having parties in Uganda? Do you have a purpose? Should we wind them up? It has been happening in the cities of by-elections. Arua, Bujiri, Jinja, a series of fights. Rukungiri, it was terrible. We went to Makere recently, this is where a young man died. We thought maybe common sense will revisit us when you are going to Soroti. But we found out we are wasting time. A party president arrested and kept in prison for 3 days. But Mr. Byabakama has not even outed a statement up to today. He said nothing about it. I asked you the EC chairman, Mr. Byabakama, sir. We are fed up of lamenting. If they don't want elections, let them tell the world. No more elections. Let's have a mid-like government and we move on. When people get tired of them at one stage, they rise up against them. But this business of talking about elections, even where the winner cannot even enjoy the winner, we are leading our country to a situation which we may not handle ourselves. Someone in prison for 72 hours. A party president who has a candidate in elections, accredited by the EC. It sulks. It annoys. All these things were happening when the vice president was present in the area. The prime minister was in the area. The second and the fifth, they are in the area, permanently there. What type of government are we having in Uganda today? They are not even ashamed. Members of parliament were arrested. Poor businessmen in Soroti, who housed some of our leaders, their doors were broken into. Now the hotel people have to repair the doors. The police officer will say, these people are arrested because they were campaigning. Someone in a room when he's seeing is campaigning to who? If common sense is not very far away from our heads. Do you have any common sense left in our heads? That someone is campaigning, but you found him alone in the room. Now campaigning to who? Ladies and gentlemen, we are tired. People think they are going to use guns. We have ever seen guns which are worse guns. I mean, these guns were worse. But he did not succeed to chase out all Ugandans and leave this country to those who are goons and having guns. This is our country. We must have peace in it. Let's have elections. If someone wins, the other one waits for 5 years. Simple. That's not life and death. That's what we are planting to our children, those who are in Makerere. People are not talking, but their hearts, they are crying. They are bitter. General Museveni and your group, please. Let's think about our country. What type of country are you going to leave to our children? We are just a small election of one MP, which was not going to even change anything in Parliament. Is the majority of NRM going to increase by tremendously by one vote, one MP? As if this will condole with the people of Bugisu, who suffered greatly because of the floods of River Namatala and Nabuyonga, which burst banks, causing enormous flooding in the surrounding areas. All access roads were cut off, as you are aware. But this brings us to one issue which we oppose. These piecemeal solutions of waiting for some disaster to happen, and then you take there some lady food, medical. I saw our Prime Minister doling out some 1 million each to those who lost their loved ones. We must have, as a country, a lasting solution to this. What should we do with our people where it is potentially dangerous to live? How are you going to move them to safer areas? Those are the things we should be talking about now. We need that holistic solution, where we move our people to areas which are safe, we provide for them, we buy them land, instead of leaving them there, and then we make it a statistic. Every year, how many people died this year? 25. The other year, they died 20. Statistics at the expense of our people. Some land was paid for some time back from government, but the land is not there. Some people ate the money. We should do whatever it takes to help our people out of this calamity. So we condole the people of Bugisu and Sebei who are affected by these floods. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
And then maybe the number of people who are arrested and have they been those who are arrested?
Okay. Let me finish with the Soroti first. More than 100 people were arrested in Soroti. And as we talk now, we have not located where 15 of them are. A good number of them were released. This morning I was talking to Mr. Muriat. About 15 of them, we don't know whether they kept them. Mr. Muriat and Wanyera were the people who were released on Saturday from Dokolo. But about 15 of them, we don't know where they are. More than 100 were arrested, including MPs, mayors, and whatever. Today, in Kisoro Bukimbiri, we have nominated a candidate. If this is not a party that is going to be cowed out of these by-elections, we are studying situation by situation. What we are going to do, we are not going to tell you here. But we are studying the situations. We continue with them until there reaches a stage where we say enough is enough. Maybe winding up the party, I don't know. because it's useless to be there when you're not going to go for elections. And even it brings me to the other issue I talked about. Is it still useful to continue with this nonsense of we are dialoguing as parties? Then you continue with the iPod? Does it make sense? Will we not be sick if we continue with such organization like iPod? Anyway, that's the impunity we have been talking about. That people are no longer even civil. They behave like animals. All of you saw Mr. Ofwono Opondo raging like a lion against our vice president. Mr. Lukwago is our deputy president of FDC. The spokesperson of the government attacked him on air. And one of the witnesses was the minister in charge of ICT. And the minister in charge of UCC, which has to maintain, to make sure that there's minimum broadcasting standards. And he's even the head of the media center, Mr. Honorable Riomus. He was a witness. If we had a country of people who are civil, Mr. Ofwono Opondo would have resigned by today. If he does not resign, Honorable Riomus should help him to get out of the office. If you had a country of civilized people. I don't know whether Uganda has civilized people. That one we'll find it later. So Mr. Opondo should not be even in office today. What he did. Someone who cannot even control himself when he's on TV. I think it borders to madness. So Mr. Bariomunsi, the ball is in your court. You are in charge. You're a witness. You don't need even investigation. The gentleman called Mr. Ofwono Opondo works under you. He attacks someone who is the mayor of the city, a vice president of a very big party. If you kept quiet, then we take you in the same lot as Ofwono Opondo. Yes, sir.